Greetings everyone and welcome to the finals of the 2017 Catch World Cup. I am JB Hyperion.
And I would be Sartan, and this is indeed the grand final. Haha, we've made it.
It's taken
I'm
us
looking forward to this one.
several weeks to get here. 32 teams started and only 2 remain.
JBH, we've literally just said 2 sentences and we've already overlapped each other twice.
Stop bringing it up. It's just not avoidable at this point.
It's not gonna work out. But hey everyone, hope you're having a good day and welcome indeed to this World Cup of Catch. This is your last match of this year, so you should definitely stay up for it and enjoy it as much as you possibly can. South Korea versus China. JBH, what are your expectations?
So we saw these two competing in the winners bracket final a couple of weeks ago, and it was a pretty intense match. China taking a few points to begin with, but South Korea battling back pretty strongly to eventually take that game 6-3. Since then, South Korea have not played a match, whereas China did play against Indonesia in that epic battle, going all the way to tiebreaker, eventually winning 6-5 in the losers bracket final. So at this point, South Korea have had a lot of time to sit off, practice, see what their opponent's capable of, and they've seen China play every single map in this pool except for the long no-mod pick, Hades the M, whereas China have only seen from South Korea what they saw in the match against them a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, that's true. I'm wondering whether it's going to be utilized this time around, the Razor Sharp map, the one you were just mentioning. I'm hoping for this to shape up to be a really good match because both teams seem to have this same kind of mindset going into this. Sorry, I just had to cough there for just a second, but I've talked to both Nagi and HyperW7 from both teams, respectively. China, they are happy about how they performed in this CWC, and they should be, because they've had the greatest game and they've come so far. They've already guaranteed themselves a top 2 spots, and really all they're going to do is just do their best against South Korea, see if there's any kind of miracle to happen for them to beat them, and if not, they're going to be proud about what they've achieved anyway. And really the same goes for South Korea. They've almost dropped 0 games in this tournament. They've dropped 0 matches anyway, and all they're going to do is just have fun. If it's going to be the same story as previous week, then that's a big thumbs up from them, and if not, then still, they've done their best, they've done the greatest, they've shown to be a very potent team. So with this mindset, I do expect to be there to be a lot of competitive play from both teams, to be fair. They're both still very much into this tournament anyway, so that's going to be great.
So in the 7 matches that South Korea have played so far in this tournament, 3 in the group stages and then 4 in the knockout stages, they've lost 5 games in total. 2 against the United States in the semi-final and 3 against China in the finals week 1 winners bracket final.
And the other teams didn't even scrape off a single one from them. That's crazy. But here we are. It seems that the players have already joined the lobby, and we're going to be switching over to the client very soon on stream 2. So stay tuned. And also tell us, who do you think is going to take this win? Who's going to be world champion for this year? And we'll say in due time if you're correct or not. Also, if you have any questions to me or JB Hyperion, definitely ask them on the stream chat now. We are open to answer almost anything, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, what is your favorite spice of tea, I guess? JB Hyperion, just to kick off things.
We had this comment in an earlier stream, I think. So just a nice kind of breakfast tea would do me perfectly fine. Black, no milk, no sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take this in a slightly different direction, because we talked about China versus South Korea already happened last weekend. South Korea kind of took that one. What do you think China needs to do this time around to get a different result?
Also, I deadbeat, and to get a different
I returned,
result.
by the way, from my
He's here as well.
3.5 week break.
Oh, you've been having fun, haven't you?
Oh, a lot of fun.
That's good. Lovely, dude. Great, you had a lot of fun. But to answer your question, really, the only thing I can think of that China could do to improve on their performance from previous week is just to play whatever they've done there better than they had in the previous round against South Korea, because really they don't really have another way out of this match, really, because you have limited amounts of maps in the map pool. This is going to be a best of 30 match too, so they're going to be utilizing most of that map pool probably. They're at least going to be playing 7 of those maps, and there's very little room to play around with, I guess, for them left if they really get into the latter stages of the match. If you have used about 10 matches, so you're going to be forced to play stuff. So really
I think I speak for everyone when I say I really hope it's more than 7 maps.
Sorry, you're cutting it a little bit. Really, again, I guess China's just gonna have to perform better than the previous week. It's really blatantly said, and I can't really change anything about it. The thing is, they don't really have another way out. Double time was really good for the previous week. Also done pretty good in Modern Hard Rock, and also in the match against Indonesia. I think they outperformed their own self the match from South Korea. So just hope to see that kind of performance from them in this match. And the same goes for China, really. Hidden, they can pick up rock, go really good.
Just to follow on from that, in the previous match that we saw between China and South Korea, there were 4 matches. The score difference was less than 50,000, so that's the matter of maybe 1 or 2 misses. So if China can just up their consistency a tiny bit, then those games could easily swing the other way, and we could see a much closer game. Although the reverse is also true. If South Korea can outperform China on the 2 maps that they lost on, Squatris and Codename Zero in their last match, then it could easily be over even quicker than the previous match.
Also, apologies if you kind of hear a little bit of Mr. Destructoid audio. It's a little bit of a bad day for Discord, seemingly. But hopefully it's alright now.
Sounds it at least. Anyway, so yeah, sorry about that, guys. Yes, we should begin to the first one very shortly, actually. It's can't be too far away now. As for the casters, we have JB Hyperion and Sartan.
Hello.
And Deadbeat too, of course, to just hop in for the fun of it.
Yeah, I'm just chilling.
You are just chilling, like you should always be. That's a good mindset. I love you.
Everyone does. No idea why.
It's weird. But it's good that the audio got fixed that fast. We're hopefully going to be switching over to the tournament client soon to get started with this first warm-up map, which we can already see. The difficulty name being can't write difficulty name. Uh-oh.
Yeah, we saw Azrael talking about a new type of mapping style, so I'm guessing this would be a South Korean warm-up pit, and it could be quite radical, as we saw from their warm-up last week, Meme.
From Azrael, of all people, you mean?
Well, I know that XCon's Kebris map has don't know title and don't know diff name as some of the kind of metadata, so I guess this could potentially be one of his maps.
Here we are then with the first warm-up of today's match. Those first few notes already spell out for this to be a interesting map nonetheless. I mean, if it's either from XCon or Azrael, sorry, my apologies. Yeah. You're gonna be in for a certain type of ride, a very special ride. I'm not sure if this is actually not the warm-up that they used previous week too. They had this kind of a map too. I'm not sure if this is the exact same song. Could very well be.
If this is South Korea's pick, then their previous warm-up was, I don't know how it's a meme song, percentage bracket 7M or something strange like that. I can't remember the exact name. But yeah, this is a different song and different map. If you can even call this a map.
Oh, that's a beautiful. This is a work of art.
Exactly.
This might just be better than the Dutch warm-up. Maybe there's finally something that can touch the greatness of that thing. Who knows? I mean, we can have a poll for that.
That's high praise from Satan.
That's very high praise.
When your slider velocity is so high that you can make it look like normal notes. Those slider ticks look like actual kind of like hyper note patterns. That's mad.
When your slider velocity is so high that even Satan looks sober to you. I love Kalyanet's attempt to try and catch those big fruits anyway, even though it makes 0 sense.
Yeah, there's not much warming up here. It's mostly just having fun and enjoying a very interesting work of art. I just noticed this is a very long map. We're approaching halfway now.
Oh my god, you're actually right. I mean, this is the last time to show off your warm-up, so better make good use of it.
Yeah, what better time to do so in the grand final? Seeing 500 people here already.
Even just for the warm-up, that's quite a lot already. But get some more of those people in, guys. Get your friends in. This is going to be a very cool match, right? You want to see it happen. You want to see it go down.
Yeah, by the time the tiebreaker ended in the losers bracket final, China versus Indonesia last week, we had just over 1,000 people watching. So let's try and top that this time.
Yeah, it's beautiful for us to see the 4 digits appearing on the screen, right? So definitely try and get as many people as you can in, and they won't be disappointed in this match, trust me. What was that supposed to be?
I don't know what it was supposed to be, but it almost crashed the entire client there.
For me, it almost did too.
I think we'll all need to get our vision checked out after this one.
Is anybody going to reach over 200k score? You have Asriel, who has the potential to? Maybe? Oh yeah, that's going to be it.
impressive that he's over 50% act though.
PC, don't you lag out now.
Look at those combos building up, man.
That's a spitter to top it off. Wow. 46k score difference. This is going to be a good premise to see how the actual match is going to go. No, just kidding. This is actually... you can't determine anything from this kind of map, so no problem, guys. No worries.
Yeah, just in case it wasn't abundantly clear, this is not the map pool.
Is it not? Oh.
Maybe next year, mapping meta might have evolved a little bit.
We need more PP. I want singular maps with no mod to give at least 3k PP. And this suffices pretty well, so... definitely get this right.
2018 Oscar World Cup. Group stage tiebreaker. Camilla Ghost.
Nah, double time pool, man.
Yeah, double time, because the map is pretty long, to be fair.
No.
And you don't want to have those long maps, you want to have TV sizes. Deadbeat, you don't understand. You don't.
I'm guessing you probably want to put it forward a round or two.
To
I
the
feel like for
prelims.
a double time that might be a little bit on the far-fetched side.
Nah.
Maybe for Simmies.
So to everyone, assuming you still survived that warm-up, we'll be transitioning on to China's warm-up now, which will be Perth again, Zappy's Extra.
Oh, this is a really good song too. Loving it. Good. Our commentators, what do you think about mates maps in World Cups? As for warm-ups, that's pretty fun. But as a real map, no, not really. Actually, there's one occasion where that would be really cool, and that's if there were to happen another, what was it called? Dodge the bait? Dodge the fruit
the
kind
beat,
of?
or
Yeah.
Osu, or whichever iteration you're kind of, whether it's going to be official or not.
Yeah, it's not official by any means, but 1 to 2 years ago, there was somebody who hosted a tournament where you have to do explicitly just dodge the fruit and get as little score as you possibly could. And maps like those would be really good in that kind of a scenario, but that's not going to happen in a official tournament, however. Or at least
Yeah,
I
they're
think
always-
so at Winky Phase 2 locked out.
Yeah, they're always good fun to see, especially in the warm-ups where people maybe not taking things quite so seriously. It's nice to get a little light-hearted tone in there. This isn't just a game after all. Both these two teams do want to win, but it's important that everyone stays fair and kind of gamesmanship spirit and all that.
It's good fun. This is a good map though, so China is actually being a little bit serious with the warm-ups, I assume. Because this one is ranked 2. There's not too many FCs on it to catch anyway. Also, something that Magnumizer just mentioned to me, and maybe it's nice to know on stream, the entire South Korean team has just been swapped out for the 3 other players. That's so cool. They've done that every single time, actually. They swapped out the 3 players that were playing the first warm-up to the other 3 players that weren't playing the first warm-up. Just to have everybody get a little bit of on-stream time, at least.
Yeah, South Korea have always been kind of prepared, ready for any challenge that's come their way. And especially with, we saw in their last match, some AR8 hidden changing into AR9 double time. So lots of adaptation needed. It's best to have all your players as warmed up and ready for the match as possible. So giving everyone a chance to participate and get warmed up, definitely a good plan.
I mean, you could do that in solo play too, but it's a little bit more official, I guess, in a way, too, when doing it in a match. You're kind of getting used to the pressure in a way too, because you're in a multiplayer lobby already, and you're already playing something. So the first map you'll be picking, you won't be as nervous on, I guess. Doesn't quite work for me anyway. I tend to not really care too much whether I'm warming up in solo or in the multi-lobby itself. So either way is fine to me, but I guess some people think differently about it. I've never played C2B before. This crap is insane. Well, yeah, it's really cool, right? There's quite some people playing catch, but I find it to be too low. But the game mode is very much fun to play. It could be very challenging too. If you're wanting to get into it, it's easy to pick up, but it's pretty difficult to master. So I guess in that regard, it kind of differs from OC Standard, because I find OC Standard to be more difficult to just simply pick up and become good at. I'm not saying that's the general consensus, but hey.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of the 3 to 4 star mark where it starts to really just spike.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think most people will agree that catch is something that you can get into fairly casually, and I think a lot of people did get into it by kind of just giving it a go, playing it to chill out, and then it became a bit more serious for them. But yeah, very easy to get into and not particularly kind of difficult in the earlier stages. But to master, there's a very kind of high skill ceiling, which a lot of these players here, despite being the best in the world, still haven't reached that yet, as you can see. Lots of misses across the board. Mapping metas evolving every day, and of course converted standard difficulties also being present, offering kind of unique challenge to those seeking something a bit more spontaneous.
Exactly, there's lots of ways of mapping in OC Catch too, and converts can also offer a big challenge to you. And players try to adapt to as many of those difficulties and as many of those variations as possible, and that's how you become really good at catch. Now, there is a very high skill ceiling, as you've already said, and there's some people getting pretty close to, you know, maxing themselves out, but not even by a long shot at the same time, right? XCon, for one, he's doing some godlike plays in solo here and there. There's double time plays he's done where other people just have a mouthful of and they just can't do. Even plays in the top 50. But even then, even XCon is not yet at his max and at his best and the highest capacity he could be at. So in that regard, catch is open to improve a lot, even upon initial startup on catch. But here we go with the rolls. Dusk is going to win this time around. China will be the first one to pick with a roll of 57, coming 24 over XCon's 33 roll.
Dusk finally won. I think he's rolled 3 in the last 2 matches that he's participated in. Had a really unlucky roll kind of performance in his last few games. Good to see him finally win one and get to pick first. But before that, South Korea are going to ban since they lost the roll.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone give Dusk some props. Give him a cheer. Congratulate him.
He's finally done it.
He's finally landing a great role.
Great job to Dusk. It's a victory on its own, so yeah, I'm very proud for the dude. So we're gonna have Avanti and Fees Rain as the bans here, respectively from China and South Korea. So it seems that both teams are taking the same route as they did previous week, actually. First of all, China trying to avoid as much as you can from HD, and then you have South Korea trying to alter all possible maps to not play double time. And there's the code name Zero from China. I guess Dusk's favorite map from this map pool too. It seems to be the same story as previous week, but I'm hoping that the performance from both teams is going to be different this time round too. That's going to be the big question here. Is China going to improve on previous week's performance? And if not, is South Korea going to do worse than previous week? Or maybe even better? Who knows?
Yeah, no real surprises there. South Korea won a lot of the hidden maps that they played fairly convincingly in their match last week. And obviously China, all the two of the 3 points they won were on double time. So it makes perfect sense for South Korea to ban double time, taking out Yasuhisa no Ryu, and China will be removing Aventir to just block out one of the hidden options. And again, as you said, China going straight to Codename Zero for their first pick, as they have done in both their match against South Korea and their losers bracket final match against Indonesia. Very comfortable on that map, so hoping to again put a point on the board first up once again.
So again, I repeat, this is going to be a best of 13 match, so the first team to get to 7 points is going to take this win. China will have to win this match twice to win this World Cup, because they come out of the losers bracket, meaning that they are they've already lost once in the tournament. South Korea has not yet lost once in the tournament. So that's going to be even more difficult for China to achieve, right? But it might make it more interesting too.
Well, if you can do it once, you can do it again. So once they've won the first time, if they do win, of course, that would certainly buoy their confidence going into their kind of rematch. I think China will just be looking to get ahead, same as they did last week, and then try and consolidate, stay ahead. Just win their own picks, try and break where possible and avoid getting broken, so that South Korea don't really run away with this.
Also, prior to this match happening, if we tend to spoil anything or are ahead of you guys a little bit, there's very little we can do about it. We're going to try to do our best to fix that as fast as we can, but we're getting into that first map, Codename Zero. This is the grand final, everyone. Let's go!
Okay, so Hidden being picked up by one player on each team, Azriel on South Korea and Nagi on the side of China.
So far, very solid performance from all players. I'm very much impressed that there's no drops and no hiccups from anyone. There's going to be one soon, I assume, at least.
Grand final pressure has to be building.
Yeah, and there you have it from Azriel. I think that's also partially due to Hidden. This is actually really difficult with Hidden, because your catcher movement is very unique on this one. This is the Urza map. It's a little bit different from the other cat-specific maps that you're currently seeing in the meta. You can be really precise where to place your catcher, and that's very difficult with Hidden in this case. But there's only one break from both teams here currently. China is doing so well thus far into the map. There's only 1/4 left, and this might already solidify it.
Yeah, coming into the last Ki, and China have a pretty significant lead, but there's going to be a couple of drops from Kalyanet and Dusk. Lead going back over to South Korea.
Exactly, it's going back to South Korea, and that's going to be very bad news for China, because this is actually their most confident and most comfortable map to play, and there's already 1 point coming in from South Korea. Score difference of about 50,000. Unexpected, to be fair, because this has never happened to them before.
So yeah, after two previous first picks and two previous victories, China have been broken on Codename Zero, and South Korea going straight into Secret of the Flowers of Phenomenon. I think the AR8 convert hidden pick, no surprise, they dominated on that map in their previous match. So South Korea looking to push ahead on their own pick and take a 2-0 lead here.
Yeah, beautifully set by you too. This is a very impressive performance here from Hyper W on the Codename Zero map. He's had an FC with 99.06% accuracy. That's very cool. But that's typical Hyper W. He tends to have a little bit of a lower accuracy on his double time plays, but his double time plays at the same time are very crazy. He's very fast, and he's showing that hits as well. So yeah, that's really cool. Secret of the Flowers of Phenomenon. Well, we have seen this before with South Korea and China too, so this is again the same story all over again. I think South Korea is going to outperform him on this one, but I'm not sure, because you never know how China has practiced these hidden maps.
Yeah, you got to think maybe China are a bit too predictable there. South Korea being fairly certain that China would first pick Codename Zero, and they must have practiced that map a lot, because that was a very impressive performance from them. China just slipping at unfortunately the absolute wrong time, if there is ever a right time to mess up, and capitalizing significantly. And as we pointed out, and has been mentioned in the chat earlier, that the transition from AR 10.3 to AR 8 is going to be a significant challenge for anyone participating here. We might see people swapping out members of their team. China may have expected South Korea to pick hidden here and have had some of their players training up in the downtime on the match we just seen.
Seemingly there's going to be 2 switches for South Korea. Spectator MJJ are going to switch up Azrael and Hyper W, and for China there's going to be Crystal instead of Dusk. I wonder how this one is going to turn out, because South Korea has been showing to play so well on this map too. XCON even FCing it previous week.
Yeah, that was an incredible play from XCON there. We were like literally breathless at the end of that.
Yeah, I guess that was one of the best, if not the best play in this entire tournament. Hopefully we're going to see those kind of plays from all players here now. China versus South Korea's second round. China is still looking to get themselves onto that scoreboard, but there's a 1-0 lead for South Korea now. This is their pick too, so this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, this was second picked by South Korea in their previous encounter, with South Korea coming out with a 470,000 point victory. So certainly outperforming China on this one. No surprise that they've gone to it. And that will be vindicated. 2 early misses there from Kalyanet and Crystal on the side of China.
Yeah, they've both missed twice already, to be fair. And there's another miss too from Nagi, so this is going to give South Korea a big advantage. Spectator and MJJ are going to drop 2, but XCON again with the FC. Is he going to do it?
Early days to say. I think the max combo on this is about 1400, so about 4 minutes in length. There's definitely a long way to go where both teams can get back into this. South Korea will have the lead just now with about 50 to 60,000 points ahead, though.
I'm just going to stare at everybody for the time being. MJJ again with a miss, so maybe China's able to crawl up a little bit from this point on. They're going to close the gap a little bit. There's 2 misses from Spectator and Nagi on that annoying streamy part, which you have to perfectly align your catch to with. There's a lot of misses for China, actually. Everybody dropping there. Ooh, that's going to be very painful.
Kalyanet was the only member of the Chinese team holding a 200 combo where you earn that maximum score per fruit core. And with that drop, I think South Korea are going to start pulling ahead again, because XCON is the only player remotely close to getting that maximum score.
He's showing to be very well on this map again. But again, there's misses all over the board. Ekgon just holding on to a combo as the only person. I'm trying to not act too hyped up to break my microphone. That's all I'm trying to do here. Another miss from Kalyanet, and there's already a 150k lead for South Korea. And it's only going to increase as there's more misses from all Chinese players except for Nagi.
You can see the difference here. All of China underneath 99% accuracy. All of South Korea over 99% accuracy. And with XCON still holding that double S.
We're trying not to break XCON. That's really our main task here. Somebody in chat saying XCON is carrying really hard. Well, if this were Scorvy 1, then yeah, he would be carrying this up like crazy. But this time around, this is more of a team effort because it's Scorvy 2, of course. So MJJ and Spectator still have a big role in this.
You can see XCON there wiggling to try and catch the droplets, even though it possibly risks causing him to break combo. That's just how dedicated he is and how confident he feels in this map to not play it safe.
And there's misses from every player. Nagi a little bit later than the rest, but XCON still holding on to that combo. I think this is already set in stone for South Korea to take the point. Every single player on the South Korean side having higher score than the Chinese players, except for maybe Nagi. Nagi now reaching 700k. But there's really very little to no way for China to come back in this map anymore. XCON is gonna break, however, that's a bummer. But hey, that's very much understandable.
Do the FC twice in a row, but he's more than put South Korea in ahead at this point. There's nearly a 300,000 point lead at this stage, and you got to think South Korea need to see a fail for trying to get back into this when the match is pretty much concluded.
I don't see that happening anymore, so I'm feeling there's a 2-0 score on a scoreboard soon. And there's the ending. Only one miss from XCon, not even missing a droplet. Presumably, at least. Yeah, look at how many droplets he scored compared to the other players all over the board. This one is definitely deserved by South Korea. What an amazing play they've shown. All of them, but XCon especially, of course. Then you have Callian and Crystal actually really struggling on the map, both having more than 20 misses. Nagi did very well, though. Hopefully that's going to inspire China to at least not give up on these hidden maps. They'll be picking next, and they are trailing behind by 2 points already, so they might want to win one at least very soon. I'm suspecting double time again, though.
Yeah, probably going to back to double time. China, even though they lost Codename Zero, there's still one double time map available, the Convert Endless Night. They did leave that a bit later on in their previous match, where they were not coming in from AR8 hidden, maybe a little less harsh transition. So again, we might see that held off a little bit. But yeah, maybe China this time just want to get a point on the board, so they'll go for it straight away. And yes, they do go for Endless Night.
Beautiful song too.
Yeah, deciding not to play games or take any risks this time around. Feeling maybe a little bit under pressure, not wanting to wait until they get a better opportunity. They know that they need this win to get on the board and get some confidence inside them.
They're going to try to get Hyper W7 back into the service, seemingly. He has left, I guess, and then he wants to reconnect. I'm assuming Azriel to stay there for South Korea and Spectator to swap out with Hyper W. As for China, I think this is their setup they'll be using for this map. Just switching out Nagi. I mean, Nagi's been really... He's been doing very good on that hidden map too. I think he's got the second or third best performance. So, yeah. He's done his task. There you have Hyper W.
So we'll see Dust coming back in for double time, no surprise, since he was the lone full combo on this map when we saw it last time they met. 1,857 combo, so this is about 5 minutes long before double time has been added. There weren't too many misses from around the board, but Crystal did perform exceptionally well in support of Dusk. China taking this win by about 115,000 points, so let's see if they can repeat this one.
There's Berea in the lobby though now instead of Hyper W, so maybe they decided at the last moment to switch them out anyway. Not sure if that's a really good decision, to be fair. We'll see.
Yeah, in their previous match, South Korea's 3 players, XCon, Azriel, Hyper W7, all performed pretty much consistently at about 980, 990,000 points. So Berea will be playing this one in the tournament setting for the first time. So hopefully he has practiced this and is feeling pretty comfortable on it. Maybe Hyper W7 just not feeling this one right now.
Could be. There's lots of outside factors that could affect performance here, so maybe Hyper W's having struggles with his nerves. You can never know, really.
Yeah, the hallmark of a great team, though, is one that can adapt to any situation. So when you lose one of your best players, then it's great to be able to swap someone else in who's just as competent to avoid losing out.
Getting into that third map, let's hope that China is able to fetch a point at least. Because South Korea has been steamrolling them thus far. There's the first miss from Azriel, and I guess that's good news to China. They're all reaching the 2 in the combo cap now, giving them full amount of score for every node they catch.
Azriel going to drop again there.
I think it's hidden again, to be fair. I mean, lots of people tend to like to use hidden for high AR to make it a little bit less cluttery and a little bit more readable, but it doesn't work in every map, right? There's lots of maps where hidden can actually bottleneck you more than allow you to read better. And I guess that's a prime example of Azriel's performance currently.
You've got to imagine, though, that if Azriel's been practicing, as all the players have for the last 2 weeks, that he would have tried this both with and without Hidden and decided maybe, even though he's struggling a little bit here, maybe he's still better with Hidden than he would have been without it.
I do wonder, there's going to be a little bit of... Oh my god, there's actually going to be a lot of misses for China there. Kalina and Dusk missed a few times, but Crystal is going to follow that up too. There's no combos left anymore on the Chinese side of the spectrum. There's just Berea for South Korea. And I guess that's a good switch then. He's indeed filling up the role of Hyper W very good here. With the only FC across the entire board.
Score difference very minimal at the moment as... Kalinet's going to drop there though, just as XCON was approaching the 200 combo mark, so that's going to allow South Korea to extend their lead.
It's not that big of a lead, but halfway in, it's not a good sign for China because thus far they have been playing double time better than South Korea, and today it's just not happening. There's a miss from Berea, however, so maybe that's going to switch things a little bit.
Drop there from Berea, so excellent performance to get as far as he did, but not going to be able to quite make the full combo mark there. Kalienet dropping from China though, so again, China not able to close the gap, and it's pulling away ever so slightly at about 25,000 points, so still one miss on either side could swing this.
It could be catastrophical, so there's a lot of opportunities left for China to make a comeback here, but they have to realize that, and they shouldn't be missing themselves, so yeah, they're not in a good spot anyway. And there's another miss from Kalienet, that's gonna hurt the Chinese team a lot. There's lots of misses incoming from him. The streamy parts are indeed difficult to catch, especially with Hidden turned on. And looking at it now, it seems that South Korea might just take this one. This is just a repertoire of what we've already seen in the map. Sorry for interrupting you.
XCON's going to drop there, but Crystal's going to drop also. China just unable to capitalize here. Every time they have a chance to draw the lead back, they're just missing themselves.
Now, Crystal seems to be a little bit nervous in my eyes, to be fair. He's having a little bit of wonky movement, and I guess that's bottlenecking the team too. Same goes for Kalienet. He's not really able to read the air just properly. I guess that's because he just played air 8 Hidden too. There's lots of misses actually at the end for XCOM, but it's not going to help out as Kalienet's going to miss again, and there's another point on the scoreboard for South Korea, now leading 3-0. This is unexpected, to be fair.
Yeah, South Korea have clearly been practicing the double time picks. Obviously, the two maps that we've seen from Double Time, Endless Night and Codename Zero, were two of the 3 points that China took from them in their previous match, and they've turned that around and won both of those. So now taking a 3-0 lead, and it will be their pick to go 4-0 up. China in danger of being swept here.
I mean, those were all double time picks that China had at their disposal. The last one was banned by South Korea in the match, so from here on, they should be focusing on either the No Mod or Hard Rock. I'm not sure what would be the best way out for them.
Two maps that were played quite late in their encounter in the last match, Quaver and Bring the Madness, both came down to about 30,000, 40,000 point lead. So they could be matches where it was potentially quite easy to turn things around. Conversely, Aragami, they lost out by quite a considerable margin, so maybe they want to avoid that one. And there is, of course, Squatris, which South Korea first picked in their previous match, which China did manage to win by about 30,000 points. So there are still options, but it's a serious uphill struggle for China now, considering that their two safest picks, you would have thought in double time, have now not just gone, but been won by their opponents.
Seemingly, South Korea is going to be the one to pick Quaver. And Kalienet actually gets Nightmare Party Night. Well, oops. South Korea does indeed take an unexpected map, to be fair. I had anticipated the last Hidden to be picked too. But they're going to experiment a little bit and pick Quaver their own. As you said, Quaver had about a 30k difference in score, so this is not set in stone to be won by South Korea by any means.
Interestingly, Quaver was played after Endless Night in the previous match as well. And it was about 35,000 point victory for South Korea, with 8 misses coming out of XCON, high score of 923,000. both XGON and HyperW7 managed to hit over 1,000 combo on this map, which was really impressive considering as the map builds in intensity towards the end, some spacings just become truly evil.
So again, at everyone in the chat, show your support to your favorite team. Show them that you are there for them. Give them a little bit of your energy, or give them your prayers, whatever you prefer best. And we'll see how this turns out to be. We are getting into the fourth map. South Korea versus China. South Korea in a very dominant lead. 3-0 in.
Yeah, if you're a China fan, you better start showing them some support right now, because they're looking like they're in a bit of trouble here, and they need some good wishes to maybe give them a bit of confidence back.
So as the difficulty name states, this is a crescendo, so it means the map will become increasingly more difficult as it progresses. XCon here with the first miss for South Korea. Not sure what happened there. He was talking about his offset for just a moment, so maybe he's been toying around with that for a little second.
Bit of risky proposition to start messing with your offset settings in the middle of a World Cup final, but whatever works best for you. So yeah, strange miss there from XCon, but he looks to have settled the ship and is well back on the way to 200 combo now. China going to have a slender lead of about 25,000 points thanks to that miss.
And there's two simultaneous misses from Dusk and Hyper W. China is still in the lead because of that early miss from XCon. So, oh, there's going to be another one from him actually, and that spells out China to become a little bit bigger in the score advantage here, luckily, because they definitely do need it. This is a stable performance from we did it again. Oh my god. Talk. You go ahead.
I'm just going to comment on XGON managing to reach that 200 combo mark. So score difference will stabilize now at about 50,000 point advantage for China. But as you said, this map becomes more difficult towards the end. So if anyone can maintain a combo towards the climax of the song, then that could be a huge change in score for them, where their opponents are really not moving.
Here's the streamy part, and there's indeed a miss from Crystal. This is pretty difficult to catch. Is he going to be the only one to miss on the streamy part though? Because that means that China will remain in the lead. Seemingly, yes, he's the only person of all 6 players to miss there. Kalyanet and Azrael still have seeing. Azrael's going to drop as I say it, however. And it's looking pretty solid for China here, actually. This might just be their first point of this entire match. That would be lovely to see.
We've still got about 30 seconds to go. Crystal is back over that 200 combo mark now. Azrael still only at around 100 combo, so China will still be pulling out a lead here. Kalyanet with nearly a 1200 combo here. Crystal's going to miss again, but I think China is still going to maintain a little bit of a lead as Azrael misses too.
Yeah, quite a few misses from both Crystal and Azrael, but look at Kalyanet go. Does Crystal Hyper with the misses? Will this turn the lead back to South Korea? I assume not at this stage. But what is Kalyanet doing? This will be a leaderboard score in the top 5, I guess.
And more misses there from HyperW7 and XCon, but there's Kalyanet's drop. Really unfortunate. I don't know, is this going to get turned around right at the end?
There's a miss from Crystal too, and South Korea is taking up the lead back again as Kalyanet has some misses too. And this is going to go back to South Korea at last moment. Oh my god, that's very painful.
So unlucky. Kalyanet did huge work for his team there, but just dropping a massive amount, 20 notes in the last kind of 100, 200 combo. What happened?
I only just noticed that. I didn't even have a look at Kalyanet for those last few seconds. I was trying to give have a little bit of an overview of all players, but 20 misses on those last 200 notes. I'm not sure what happened, but I think that hampered their win in this match. I mean, he still got to a higher score compared to Hyper W, who's only had 2 misses, but still, he could have reached close to 1,000,000 points, to be fair.
Don't know what the score difference was. I was too busy kind of looking out, trying to work out what happened to Kalyanet. I think it was only
40k-ish.
40k, so yeah.
I mean, that's pretty significant considering that there was 60k of points difference being made in those last like 20-ish seconds, right? Because prior to Kalyanet's miss, China was leading by about 20k. And he missed on those last 200 notes. So that's very unfortunate. There's going to be another pick from China being banging burst. They've played this against Indonesia in a very clutch situation already. Where they were trailing behind by 1 point, and if they had lost that point, they would have lost the match to become third in the tournament, but they won from banging burst. It was really close too. And sorry for cursing you, Kalyanet. I'm not. You can give me all the blame you want.
He's got to be kicking himself there, but up until that last kind of 15 seconds of madness, that was an excellent performance from Kalyanet.
Exactly.
Kind of upset that he didn't manage to hold that through to the end, but that's what tournament nerves do to you.
Sad to see that go down. We're gonna have MJJ join for South Korea, seemingly. And China's gonna keep their roster the exact same.
At this point, China have got to be wondering what they have to do to get a victory. They can't buy one right now. Maybe this coming to the conclusion that this just isn't their year. I have no doubt that they will fight to the last game, but it's very quickly running away from them faster and faster at this point.
There's 3 more points left for South Korea to the victory. They might just grab them all. Let's hope this won't become a clean sweep. But here we are, banging burst. China did very well on this map previous week against Indonesia. Let's hope that they will be able to pull that off again in this match. They are gonna need it so badly.
China perhaps deciding that long maps give them too much of an opportunity to throw it away at the end, so they're going to try a shorter map, 2 minutes of bursting streams. Seeing a miss there from MJJ, closely followed by a miss from Dusk.
There's multiple misses from Dusk though, so that's going to give the advantage to South Korea, but Kalyanet is going to solidify that even more. South Korea with the early lead already, 1/3 into the map. But there's only Crystal for China currently above the 200 combo mark. It's looking pretty painful. There's another missile from MJJ, but it's going to be followed up exactly after by Kalyanet. Not opening any kind of window of opportunity for China here. Oh, this is looking to be very painful. This continues. X-Gon and Hyper W still going very strong halfway into the map.
Did see MJJ, and then X-Gon missing there as well. This is going to give China a chance to get back in.
Yeah, they're going to be getting back into this one. Hopefully they're going to be able to remain this time around. Hopefully they won't be imploding towards the end as they've done in the previous few maps.
Coming into the last ki now, about only 20 seconds to go. China will be holding about a 40,000 point lead. Kalyonet's going to miss there.
From Kalyanet indeed, mates. Give South Korea a little bit of an edge again. It's closing in, but MJJ is going to miss too. Almost failing, just like Kalyanet. What's going to go down? China might just take this one.
Last stream.
You could miss potentially here too. Look at that score difference of 14k, but China is gonna take it, however.
Kalyanet missing right at the end there, and I thought that was going to throw the score in South Korea's favor again, but it's not to be. China will get a point on the board. Hyper W7 and Crystal both getting a double S.
This is so interesting, though. You have 2 double S's, you have 2 S's with 5 misses with the exact same accuracy too from Hexagon and Dusk, and then you have Calumet and JJ both just imploding on that map. South Korea probably made a pretty bad call getting MJJ into this match for this one. They should have probably stuck with somebody else as he's sadly imploded. I guess Calumet just couldn't take the pressure too. But it's gonna give China a point, however, and that's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I reckon
Calunet's
probably still suffering a bit from that choke towards the end of Quaver, unfortunately. But South Korea not wasting any time. They're going to stick with no mod and go on to Aragami, which is one of the other maps that they pretty much dominated China on in their previous match.
This is my favorite one of this map pool. I'm loving this song. Anything from... I'm gonna mispronounce his name again. From Xi is lovely to hear.
And Hyper W7 with a 1 miss 832 combo, so 1 miss right at the end on this map in their last encounter. All of China consequently struggling 18, 14 and 27 misses.
And by the way, JBH, looking at it, we have reached exactly 1,000 viewers. So welcome to all of you. Hope you're enjoying your stay here. South Korea versus China. This is the Osu Catch World Cup for anybody who's just tuned in. South Korea now leading 4-1. And China's looking to grab a few more points off of them.
Yeah, so for all 1,000 and a few more of you who've decided to tune in and follow all the action from this 2017 Oscatch World Cup Grand Final, thank you. Hope you are enjoying yourselves. South Korea certainly enjoying themselves at the moment as they have a fairly commanding 4-1 lead over China, and they will be going with Nomad Aragami for their next pick. Again, fairly short, about 2 minutes long, bursts and streams.
It's kind of unconventional too, the patterns and stuff. There's lots of anti-flow and lots of moments where you have to precisely stop your catcher from moving. It's not your typical ranked CTB map of 2017, I should say, I guess. Osu Catch, I mean. But FD Fluoride's maps have been impressing me a lot, actually. I've seen a few of them thanks to this tournament, and he's actually mapping some very interesting stuff, in my opinion. Getting into that first intense section, there's no misses from all players. Double S being held by everyone. A little bit of a tranquil part up until the 300 combo mark where the map will intensify again.
Yeah, everyone doing well to survive that initial kind of burst. But here we go into a more complex section again, which could induce drops.
Yeah, these jumps are not the easiest of them all, to be fair. These are very much unconventional. There's a little bit of an extra spacing between them, and than you would expect definitely when watching on a tournament client like we are. Crystal is indeed missing though. South Korea with an early lead. Also, thank you for the compliment, Bottles. We love what we do.
Coming into the last 200 combo right now, Crystal's going to miss again, followed up by miss by Spectator, but unless we see some more misses from South Korea, I don't think this is going to make much of a difference.
Calumet and Dusk might be able to hold it on. Hexagon and Hyper W are still having to FC this map too for South Korea to win. And there's a lot of misses from Hexagon actually up until a point that he's failing. He's going to come back, I think, towards the end. But the lead has been shifted to China last moment.
Yeah, huge number of misses from Hexagon there. Really
Dusk is
strange.
missing too, however. Is that going to go back to South Korea? He's missing lots of times and he's almost failing too. South Korea taking it up last minute as well as Calumet. Oh my god, this is really intense towards the end. It seems that a lot of the action, if not all of the action, only happens in the end of the map. Of every single map. 17 misses from Hexagon towards that end. But it's going to be South Korea to take that point regardless. Hyper W again with an FC. Such great performance from that guy. Very impressive. But, wow. A little bit of a plot twist we had thought there for just a second. China being in the lead for a very solid 5 to 7 seconds. And then South Korea taking it back again due to Dusk and Calumet kind of failing to remain on their full combo towards the end. Actually, Calumet only missing the very last 4 notes. He's had a full combo up until that point, but he's missed those exact 4 notes at the very end of the map.
It just goes to show Exgon and Dusk with those kind of fairly consistent drops in the middle missing on that section. Just goes to show that even the best players in the world can struggle in a tournament setting where you got one shot. They are just human still, very good at this game, but still they are possible of making mistakes, and that was a mistake that very nearly cost South Korea there. But unfortunately, as you said, Dusk missing in a few at the same time there as well, handing the lead back over to South Korea right at the end. And they're going to stick with Nomad. China picking Bring the Madness. Again, this is one of the matches that was very close in their previous encounter. So China will be hoping they can just increase the consistency a tiny bit in order to put one over on South Korea and get another point on board.
China's going to need every single little bit of support now too, so chat, hype it up for them. They're trailing behind by 4 points, so it's not looking good for them at all. Calumet is going to swap out with somebody else seemingly. With Nagi of all people.
Nagi did play this map in their previous encounter, scoring 4 misses. There was 2 FCs, 1 on each side from Hyper W7 and Crystal.
Bring the Nagi. And we're getting into the 7th map of the match now. There's 2 more points required for South Korea to take this win, but they were in a very clutch situation for the last 2 maps, so China is still in this game. If they try to, at least. I'm not trying to give any false hope to anybody, but if China is going to try their very best from this point on, I'm not writing them off from winning this game. First miss over incoming from Nagi. Not a good sign for China to kick off with. Oh, but Berea actually finding a lot of misses, missing those entire streamy jump section thingies.
Very
I don't know what I tried to say there.
Hyperchain.
Hyperchain, yeah, exactly, the Hyperchain. I tend to have a little bit of our own kind of terminology when it comes to catch the beat. But he's dropped below an S due to this. Nagi's going to find another miss too, but Rio had the same plans in mind, and it's going to be China in the lead currently.
Berea is going to hit 200 combo first, so that lead is going to become very slender for China. Only a few thousand points in it at this point. The remaining 4 players, 2 on each side, all still holding full combo at this stage.
It's very close though, with 12k difference in score for these 2 teams.
During the break, players can see each other's scores. China will know they have a very slender lead. South Korea will know they are still in this.
Don't choke it up now.
No pressure.
I mean, to be fair, the map is almost exactly the same from this point on. When you look at the first section compared to the second section. So they just have to rinse and repeat the process that they did in the first half of the map. Let's hope that they will be able to. There's going to be another one of those hyperchain sections in just a second. No misses this time around, luckily for all players. Looking very solid. I'm not going to call out anyone. I don't want to curse them. These poor players.
Coming to the end of the final Ki here, only about 15 seconds to go.
It's actually very, very close. Any miss can still shake up things. But China might just take this one. And they got it with a miss from Dusk at the very end, I think. Well, actually, it's going to come down to the spinner, maybe. Where for China to just give up on spinning.
Dusk missing the very last note there, but thankfully not making too much of an impact. That match was really decided in the first kind of 300 or 400 combo with that huge section of misses from Berea, 15 in total. Hyper W7 is going to take the SS, X-Gon missing, I think, one droplet, Crystal the same, and Dusk missing that very last note, unfortunately. So China will get a second point on the board, but it will be South Korea's pick next. And I think Nightmare Party Night, probably a pretty sensible pick from them from here.
I do think so as well. I mean, they've been playing No Mod so much now. A discontinuity into that No More mentality they've had thus far would, I guess, scare China a little bit and probably give a very secure point to South Korea. Also, Dusk, even though he missed the last note, he did outspin Crystal's score, so it didn't matter too much, luckily. But it's pretty sad to see it, to say the least. Yeah, there you have it, Network Party. This is a hidden map on AI9. It's a specific, cat-specific difficulty, but it's difficult nonetheless. Some very sharp corners to be taken in the map, as well as very big, largely spaced jumps, I should be saying, yeah. Not really that great of a ride to play this one, and the average accuracy that has been shown on this map is, I guess, the lowest of all maps in this finals map pool, hasn't it been, JB Hyperion?
I think Squatris just pipped it in the later stages of last week's rounds due to some of those fairly insane slider patterns. But yeah, the average accuracy on this has been down in the 97% mark. So lots of people have struggled with this. A very kind of old, one of the very first catch-specific maps, I think, back in 2011, if I'm not mistaken. So nothing like the maps you would see today. Lots of adaptation to older styles required. Interestingly, this was the final map played between these two teams in their previous encounter, which South Korea did win. The score difference was 770,000, but that did feature a fail from Kalyanet, which would have brought the score difference to within 70,000 points. So maybe South Korea not quite as dominant on this map as would have looked on paper. If China can just avoid any of their players failing and maybe capitalize on a couple of South Korean mistakes, this could still swing their way. They shouldn't have lost hope by this point.
I do think so as well. I mean, there's definitely not as big as a difference between these two teams on this map compared to, for example, Flowers of Phenomenon, the other hidden pick that we saw today. I'm hoping for China to grab a break point here too, because that would definitely stimulate them. But so far, South Korea has been showing to be the dominant team in hidden, so I'm not trying to rile you guys up or give you any kind of false hope. I'm just saying that China does have the opportunity to do something very good here. And I think they are definitely considering that too. 8th map of the match.
So a win here for South Korea would put them on match point at 6-2. A win for China would equal their performance of 3 game wins in their previous encounter.
Nagi with very early misses already, but okay, never mind. Everybody's gonna miss except for Kalyan and X-Gon. But actually, China leading early in the map. Spectator fighting a few misses more frequently anyway than the other players. More spread out, so that's going to hurt his score a bit more than just missing a lot of notes at the exact same moment. Nagi's going to follow up, but the entire South Korean team missing. Kalyanet the only one at the score cap. He's going to miss right after though. But China has this advantage now of about 60k. And that's what they lacked in the previous time that they played this map. So who knows?
Still be overturned very quickly if they're unable to build a combo later on in the map. Crystal and Spectator missing again there. But as we have seen, it's very difficult to maintain a combo in the later stages. So if you can build a lead early on, that can go a long way towards cementing your position. Though South Korea will take the lead here with Nagi and Kalyanet missing again. But more misses from Spectator as well could turn that around. Asriel just missing as he was about to hit 200 combo. Xgon is just approaching that limit himself. And the lead is about 40,000 points in South Korea's favor right now, with half the map to go.
Yeah, South Korea's Xgon is actually the only person to have an S on this map currently, so he's been performing so well on Hidden today. Very impressive to say. He might just carry this one for his team, because China is not able to build up a consistent combo, to be fair.
Going to see a couple of misses there coming out of Kalyanet and Spectator. South Korea still building a lead slightly thanks to Xgon having that combo.
Yeah, Nagi and Spectator actually missing very consistently overall, so I'm not quite sure what's going to go down there. Xgon, however, 2 missing now for South Korea.
And importantly, Crystal still holding combo for China.
Ooh, lots of misses actually from all South Korean players as well as Kalyanet, but is it going to be too late? I do think so, actually.
Yeah, it's too large. That's going to be a win for South Korea by around about 100,000 points in the end.
Also, sorry again for the spoilers. It's pretty difficult to keep yourself synced up with everything that's going on. We do apologize. There's very little we can do about it. So if it does happen, definitely give your support and your feedback, I should be saying, in the chat. As South Korea now actually only requires 1 more point to take this grand finals win.
It will be China's pick, though, and they're going to have to think long and hard about what they go for here. There are 2 no-mod maps available, Hades and Squatris, and then the entire Hard Rock pool.
I wonder what China is going to do from this point on. I hope they haven't given up yet. Stay competitive to the end. Snowstorm, of all things.
This is a very interesting choice from China. They did pick this against South Korea in their previous match, but it actually resulted in a 360,000 point victory for South Korea, with Xgon and HyperW7 hitting only 1 and 2 misses respectively. All of their players achieving over 1 million score on this map. So China have got to be feeling that they've improved significantly on this if they want to challenge South Korea. CS 6.5 coming out with obviously Hard Rock being added, so capture, control and precision required to succeed here.
Maybe they're just gambling at this stage. You can't really tell. I hope they aren't. But there's very few options for them left to struggle their way out of this situation. They need to win 5 times in a row to take this match. I'm not really feeling it. I'm hoping that they'll do their best to achieve that, but there's so much work to be put out now.
Yeah, China really do have the proverbial mountain to climb, having to win 4 matches just to get level and then obviously take us to a tiebreaker. You got to think that South Korea have this one settled, and it looked like they had it from very early on, but don't count China out. 2 minutes on this could decide whether China remain in this match or not.
By the way, this is not CS 9.1, what has been suggested in the chat. It's 6.5. Not that close to being that high. It's still very high CS. I have to say that. I have to mention it because that's actually what makes this map so special. But other than that, not that crazy.
An early miss there coming out of Hyper W7, but maybe that won't have too much of an effect. Misses towards the start, we've noticed, don't have too much of an impact on score, but if nobody else misses, then obviously that could become crucial.
It all comes down to those last few seconds with these two teams we have seen in lots of the previous maps. All players approaching 200 combo, Hyper W now 2. I'm very surprised by the performance of all players, to be fair. Only one miss so far. Astriel's gonna follow it up actually for Hyper W. As well as Nagi, so a little bit of a shift here, but still Gus, Crystal and Escon holding on to an FC. That's very impressive, to be fair.
Going to see 3 misses there from Nagi, Azriel and Hyper W7. So again, just the 3 players we mentioned still holding that FC. Crystal and Azriel going to miss there though. That's going to bring the lead closer. China still holding on at this point, but it's very slim.
Yeah, Crystal had a very unfortunate miss there. He just didn't go to the left far enough. Azriel and Crystal again missing, but it's Dusk and XCOM with the FCs here. What is being seen as the 2 best players from either team are having their final battle here, maybe, depending on how this one is going to go. China still with a lead of about 50k, however, approaching the end of the map, and there you have it. It's going to be a point for China, assumingly that nobody is going to miss these very easy notes, at least.
Turned out to actually be quite a comfortable victory for China, about 60,000 points in their favor. So they've managed to overturn their demons on this map, with Dusk hitting a double S. Very impressive, right when his team needed it the most.
They've not given up yet. Very happy to see that. South Korea is going to have to struggle just a little bit longer to become grand champions today. And they are running out of picks too. They have to discuss now. So maybe this is the chance for China to try and make a comeback. We've seen them do very well in all of the matches with comebacks. I mean, they were pretty much in this exact situation with Indonesia too. They crawled back from a 5-3 score to winning that match 6-5. So, I mean, this is the exact same situation here. Except for the fact that they have one more point to grab.
There are only 4 maps available for them to pick. 2 Nomad and 2 Hard Rock at this stage. All double time have been picked or banned. All the hidden have been picked or banned. What are they going to go for? Will we finally see Hades for the first time?
Again, chat, pray for your favorite team. They need it so badly. Show them your support in every possible way.
Wouldn't be surprised to see a Mythologia's End Hard Rock pick here, considering that Indonesia used it quite effectively against China in their loose bracket final match. So if they're feeling remotely comfortable on that, I think that would psych out China quite considerably.
I don't think they're actually considering playing Hard Rock now due to China having won that previous pick, the Snowstorm map. Even though it would tactically be a good idea, and you're definitely correct there, I don't think that that's going through South Korea's head currently.
If it's Nomad, then obviously Hades is available, but neither team has played it in the tournament, obviously in the multiplayer setting. And then Squatris, which South Korea first picked against China in their last match, but China managed to win. So
they're going to go for Squatris, however. Which China won previous time, so I do wonder how this one's going to turn out. I mean, XCON has been showing some very good plays on his hidden / nomad side of things. I hope he would be able to do that here again. I'm rooting for China on this map, though, just because I want to see them crawl closer towards that tiebreaker, right?
But yeah, interesting that South Korea have gone with Squatris, which they first picked to their kind of detriment against China in the last match. Fairly kind of consistent performance all round, about 18 to 30 misses from the variety of players, hitting about 800,000 points average. So China managed to win that one by 55,558 points, almost all fives.
China's going to be swapping out. We did it again. Oh my god. This is totally insane.
Carry on.
China's going to be swapping out one of their players here. Kalyanet is going to jump into the multi again. Swapping out Nagi, or didn't Nagi play just now? I'm actually very confused as to what's happening currently. Maybe Kalyanet is having some internet issues? I'm not quite sure.
If these are the 6 players that we're going to be settling with, it will be the same as the first game where this was played in their last match. So could be quite ironic for the same 6 players to start and end their 2 encounters. And here we go. This could be the final map of the 2017 Oscatch World Cup. If South Korea can plow on for this next 2.5 minutes to beat out China.
Of course, you're going to be seeing the tiebreaker showcase too, but this could indeed be the final competitive map of today. Let's just see if China's going to be able to win this one again in this situation like they did previous week.
Nothing too crazy for the first couple hundred combo, but by the time we get to about 200-300 combo, we're going to start seeing some insane slider patterns that we don't imagine any human could ever pull off. It's going to be 2 early misses there from Azriel and MJJ, though, before we even get to that section. And I think there was a very early miss from Kalyanet.
That too. Yep. Just Crystal and X1 with the combo currently, but probably everybody's going to be breaking on those crazy patterns. I have not seen anyone catch them in this kind of a situation yet. Here we go into that first one. Oh, and there's actually 2 people holding on from China. Crystal and Kalyan are doing very well, missing on that second one, but that gave him a little bit of a head start.
That little bit extra time where they were holding that 200 combo bonus. Admittedly, yet missing straight afterwards, but that is going to give them a little bit of an advantage here. Kalyanet starting to struggle though, as South Korea will take the lead. MJJ hitting 200 combo now, and XGON not far behind.
It's going to drop off again indeed because of MJJ and XGON doing very well. MJJ is going to have a very unfortunate miss, but it's going to be the same thing for the entirety of China. There's actually a lot of people failing here currently.
Kalyanet's really struggling on these back and forth hypers. He's just dancing in between the 2 streams of them, not able to catch anything.
China's not out yet, however. If nobody from South Korea is going to miss here, this is going to be a win for them. There's going to be 2 misses from Kalyan. That's Ezreal. Oh my god, no, everybody's going to miss. Actually, I'm very confused as to what's happening. But the score advantage is still in the hands of South Korea. I think everybody is alive too. There's 80k difference.
Not enough time left for China to come back.
There's no time left for China to come back, indeed. And in this very clutch situation, it's going to be South Korea to become the 2017 Oscatch World Cup champions. Congratulations. What a beautiful performance from all players.
Yeah, great performance by South Korea, winning that one by about 100,000 points to take the title of 2017 Oscatch World Champions. But of course, well played to China as well. They looked like they were kind of down and out at 4-0 down, but managed to really fight their way back into it in order to secure 3 points. But it will be South Korea's victory, 7-3. So big props to all the players. Congratulations for putting on another awesome match. But most of all, again, congratulations to South Korea for returning to the championship top step.
Yeah, after previous year's little downfall that they had with not even becoming top 4 in the tournament, they have shown to still be the top team this year if they have the correct roster, if they have the correct mindset. And just look at them go. They lost an entirety of 8 maps throughout the entire tournament. What amazing play they've shown. They've dropped 3 points against China twice. And China has definitely also shown to be the second best team this year.
Yeah, no shame in taking second place to what have been a dominant South Korean team, losing only 8 games in the entire tournament at the conclusion of this match.
Time for the tiebreaker showcase. We've seen this one. Sorry.
It doesn't have quite the same appeal as it did in our match against China against Indonesia, where it came down to 5-all, but still 8 minutes of very intense fruit catching coming up, which for anyone looking to see just how difficult and impressive catch performances can be, then this is for you. Best players in the world tackling some of the hardest maps in the world that obviously we'll see in a kind of playable setting. Some of our warm-ups have obviously been quite a bit more difficult than these maps, but...
Hi, that's me. That's warm-ups. Previous year, what previous match? This was really cool to see too. And I just want to see whoever is going to have the least misses now this time around. I wonder if China actually practiced the tiebreaker. In previous time, Kalin had only had a 10 miss. Maybe he's going to have even less. Maybe he's going to go into that single-digit misses. I do wonder.
Yes, even though China have lost the match, there's still chance for bragging rights if they can take down South Korea on the tiebreaker showcase.
They have bragging rights by just grabbing 3 points away from South Korea, in my opinion, already, so...
I feel like that would be a bit of a kick, really.
Apologies,
like,
sorry?
actually losing the grand final match and then winning the exhibition showcase.
It does happen here and there, right? It just depends on which team practices it more, really.
You'd feel a little bummed out, really, like... Being able to win on the tiebreaker is kind of a big deal.
Obviously, you're never quite sure how seriously your opponents are performing once the important match is already won, but I don't think South Korea are going to take this one too easy. They want to go out with a bang and put on a great performance too.
Actually, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we see people play with Relax during some of these exhibition matches before? I feel like
we've seen him once.
Relax. Yeah.
Maybe it's going to be the XCon versus Dusk Relax match again, but I can't tell.
I think it was the XCon who was using Relax.
His XCon, it could be easy flashlight for all we know.
I'm kind of hoping for another Relax.
FL side read incoming. Is he actually serious? Oh god, here we have it. XCon with Relax, flashlight, and easy. Typical Crystal.
Oh no, really?
And there's hard rock from all other players. Let's see how they perform on this with even more difficulty added to it.
As if this map wasn't difficult enough, turning it up to 11 with the addition of hard rock and XCon with the flashlight relaxed easy.
I hope that China's not gonna fail, actually. This is very easy to fail now with hard rock, and there's nobody on the team with no fail. XCon is trying his best though, and he's actually catching quite some fruits. He's not dropping below 80% accuracy by any means. As for China, Crystal just missed on his SS, but the other players are doing very well too. Hybrid W is actually still holding on to an SS for South Korea here currently. One of the most extreme hard rock players in the world too. Still holding on to an SS after the first section. It's kind of mesmerizing seeing all these players play, to be fair. It's all pretty unique. The hard rock, the FL easy, relax is pretty cool to view too. Ooh, there's almost a triple fail for China there. They're just resuscitating each other pretty much at this point. It's pretty difficult to keep on holding onto a combo with hard rock. There's just Hyper W with a very good accuracy currently for all hard rock players anyway.
Commentators, star rating with hard rock. Not actually sure on that as a fact. Circle size 4.2 and approach rate 9.9, so approach rate's not going to change much. Circle size will get considerably smaller to about 5.4 if I'm not mistaken with hard rock. And given the length, I'd probably say something in the region of maybe 11.5. No mod is 10.26 stars. Would that be a fairly accurate guess, you think?
11.6 maybe? I'm going to assume something along those lines.
You said 11.6, and what did JBH say?
11.5.
11.5, alright, I'm gonna figure this out.
If it's gonna be 11.55, I'm gonna...
That's a high five, dude.
you. Did you just say the exact same word too?
Hell yeah, high five, man.
This is some synergy. I'm gonna give you a high five over the mic. There you have it.
Well, why does XCon have relax? I don't know, really. He's XCon. He does what he wants.
Leave the guy alone.
Right, so
he's enjoying.
without the hard rock, it is 10.26. With it is 11.17.
Ooh.
How much? 17?
17,
Yep.
so we weren't too far off.
A little bit too far indeed.
Yeah, so you guys are a bit too high.
WTH are you doing, commentators? Haha, we don't know. We're trying to have fun, and we're having a very good time here. Hope you guys are having a good time too. Tiebreaker Showcase is lovely to see it, right? I mean, look at Hyper W's performance with hard rock currently. What is he doing?
So why doesn't XCon score any points? The Relax mod is an unranked mod, so it sets your score multiplier to 0 regardless of what other mods you happen to be using. As someone pointed out, Hyper W7 currently on 99.7% act, dropping a few there, which is going to hamper it slightly, but with hard rock, that is a very impressive performance from him.
Yeah, this is something that most pro players can't even pull off with just no mod, so Hyper W doing this with hard rock. Wow. I mean, as a player, I'm very much surprised by this too, to be fair. Not to say that the Chinese side is doing bad at all. Their hard rock performance is really good too, looking at their accuracy and the combo they are currently holding on to.
Yeah, Dusk and Crystal just below the 99% mark. Calionet's just got over 98%. All of their players holding a pretty substantial combo. Calionet's going to drop there, and Dusk also, but Crystal still holding on with nearly an 800 combo at this point.
I mean, you gotta have a lot of admiration for Crystal because, ironically, he's now gotten a second place badge for 2 different World Cups too. He played in the OC Standard World Cup and got second place, losing against America. And now in the OC Catch World Cup, they're gonna be grabbing another second place badge, losing against South Korea. So yeah, Crystal definitely a player with lots of different kind of skill sets. China is gonna fail though on the map.
That's
sadly.
really unfortunate.
That's a big bummer. Uh-oh.
Got about a third of the map to go, so unfortunately we're not going to see the rest of that.
Yeah, that's too bad. But yeah, that's what you get when you have hard rock on a 11-star map. Not to be unexpected. I assume we're not going to be retrying that too.
I doubt it, so I think that will be everything from this match. We will wait for, obviously, for confirmation.
At Mr. Locktab.
I feel like maybe one of them should have slapped no fail on, just as a safety measure.
There's some regrets coming in from that beat. You know you messed up when that's happening. Uh-oh. But that was a beautiful game. Congratulations again to South Korea for taking this one, and China, well played for getting second place. I mean, it's very ironic for China to get all these second places in these World Cups from OC.
Can't feel too sorry for them. They had their first place moment in the sun in 2016, so they are by no means kind of the perennial chokers.
That's very much true, and I mean, second place is still very cool to have. There's so many teams that will never be able to experience that feeling, so well played and congratulations, well deserved to all these people. And again, to Indonesia, congratulations on getting third place too. That was previous week. They played against China, 65. It was a great game, you should be watching it in the replays. And yeah, that's going to conclude this year's OC Catch World Cup, actually.
I have some quick stuff to quickly say.
You go ahead.
Yeah, so people have been wondering about this. So the next World Cup we will be doing will be the Mania 4K World Cup, and the registrations for that will be open pretty soon from what I've heard. And then after that, we will be having the OS World Cup, which will open around October-ish. So those are the next two World Cups we've got coming up. So
yeah, definitely also, stay tuned, guys.
So big thanks to the commentators who helped out this time around. You guys were pretty good, fantastic, even.
Thank you.
Covering for me quite a bit while I disappeared.
I mean, yeah, your fun time in Australia, so
it feels really weird for me because outside of Locktap, I'm normally here the most, so it feels weird being outdone by the commentators.
Ah, you need a hug.
Dude.
We're gonna do a little bit of a commentators group hug after this. And,
you have a rare badge of honor where you've done more for a tournament than I have.
Aw. Also, thank you for the chat, for all the compliments. You guys were great to be talking with. Sorry for all the spoilers and all the jokes in the commentating that we've had throughout these matches. We did the best we could.
Rule 5, we never apologize for bad jokes.
You are a bad joke.
We commit, you all, but we commit to them.
Yeah, this was a great event to be able to commentate on. I think JB Hayes is having the exact same thoughts on this too,
absolutely.
Right?
Absolute pleasure. Obviously my first World Cup commentary, and if they'll have me, I'll definitely be back next year. Loved it, so eager to get in and do some more. So a lot of people thanking us and thanking the organisers, but don't forget, guys, thanks to all the players, not just South Korea, China and Indonesia who took the podium positions, but the 32 countries in total that participated. So that's around about 190 players from 32 different countries, all coming together to make this amazing tournament what it is, and all the matches that we saw on stream, even the ones in the group stage that we didn't. So big thanks to all the players as well for obviously making this possible, in addition to the organisers, staff and statisticians, etc.
Yeah, thanks to all of you for being there and organising this, the players for playing to make this possible too. I'm just going to reward pretty much everything you guys say. And thanks for the compliments too. If we get asked to make a return in next year's OC Catch World Cup, we will definitely be there for you guys.
Yeah, so I think with that, those lovely words done and done, we will be wrapping this one up. So once again, congratulations to South Korea. The Mania 4K World Cup will be starting shortly-ish. And yeah, we will be back in about a month or so with the group stage for that. So take care, and thanks for tuning in, guys, and have a great day.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day, have a good night wherever you live, and we'll see you with the MWC World Cup very soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.